Welcome to the Lake Show, brought to you by the Fort Loudoun Lake Association and filmed down here in sunny Knoxville, downtown at the CTV studios. We're very, very privileged to be down here today. And the Fort Loudoun Lake Association are those people that keep your lake safe and clean. We're out there every day picking up debris small as Coke cans and as large as floating docks, hoping that you guys will be members of the Fort Loudoun Lake Association and help us keep our organization growing and keeping your lake safe and clean. Today I am speaking with Jeremy Nelson, and I'm going to read a little bit about him so you all know who we are talking to today. He graduated from Webb School of Knoxville, my alma mater, and the University of Tennessee as a history major, and he graduated from the University of Memphis with an IMBA in International Finance and German.
Yep.
Oh, nice. So if we have any German people come to Knoxville, we can send them to you. He worked for SunTrust in Atlanta as a corporate analyst, worked for TVA in Chattanooga as a business contact for Fuels Procurement Division, moved back to Knoxville, and took over day-to-day operations as a principal for Trust First, a local broker-dealer. Actively managed client funds and organized financial transactions for venture capital and private equity corporate funding. Wow, I can hardly say that was so much. Left to work for a client company that was in construction where I served as VP for operations. Left there to open up our very own Three Rivers Angler,
Yes.
the only full-service fly shop in the area. Welcome, Jeremy.
Thank you.
And one of the first questions I want to ask you is, what's your history with our river?
Well, you know, growing up in Knoxville, I've been around the water a lot and have grown up boating on the river, fishing on the river. My father was a TVA employee for years, so every trip out on the water was recreational and educational.
Well, I can imagine.
So it's where I really began to understand and to appreciate the resource that we have here and how special the urban, suburban, wilderness fishery we have here in town is. It's a special thing, and we should be really happy, and we're really lucky to have it.
So I want to ask you, back when you were a younger guy, did you swim in the river? Would you feel comfortable swimming in the river back then?
I would say that you wanted to go as far downstream as possible when you were swimming. There was the idea that closer down to Fort Loudoun Dam you got, the better the water quality was. But up North Shore and upstream, you really didn't want to get in the water a whole lot. You couldn't avoid it.
Have you seen a change since you've been around for a while?
Absolutely. It's night and day, the difference that we've seen. The fishing quality is sort of a canary in the coal mine, and we've seen the fishing quality really come around. It's been very good.
No, you got to help me out, because I'm not a fisher person. I had to use the politically correct fish person, right? But since I don't fish, I don't know what fish quality means. So can we eat the fish that comes out of this river?
You can. When you go upstream from town, absolutely. A lot of the species are going to be safe. Now, they do recommend that some of the more predatorial fish, the catfish and things like that, you really want to limit your exposure to that. But that has a lot more to do with atmospheric contaminants and things like that, rather than things that are directly going into the river as a result of Knoxville or people living here. So what you'll see is there are insects, mayflies and things like that you only find in a really healthy river system.
Oh.
And we do see that, hatches and emergences of hex flies and things like that here on the river. So it gives you a biological idea of kind of how clean the river system truly is.
So actually we should welcome all the bugs that are along our river in some way.
Absolutely.
Right?
They feed the fish and
fly fishermen, that is.
That's right. So absolutely, it's much cleaner than it has been in the past.
So my question to you is, I grew up on the river also, and I don't remember seeing too many fly fishermen out there.
Mm-hmm.
Has that become, okay, first of all, has fishing this river become more of a sport? Has it grown? Are more people drawn to it? Is it helping the commercial business just by drawing, say, fishermen events here?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
The limited ability I have to speak to the conventional fishing is just look at the explosion of bass tournaments that have occurred here over the past 10 years, I mean, you know, we have a real culture of competitive fishing here because we have such a strong, fertile fishery that provides a lot of opportunities for anglers. Now, as far as the fly fishing goes, it's something that people think is only going to be in the riverine environment. You know, you sort of a river runs through it. You're out there in your tweeds, and you know, but that's not the case. And at the store, we really try to emphasize that Fort Loudoun is a really great fishery for the long rod for fly fishing.
Has it grown? I mean,
it really has. You're starting to see there's new innovations in the sport where you have sinking lines, you have different tackle setups, so you're not just fishing on the surface with insect patterns. You know, you're getting down deep and you're fishing with big streamers, and you're pulling some very nice big fish. You know, I personally have caught 25-pound stripers on a fly rod before.
And where? I'm sure everybody's like, where? So they can go to this place.
Yeah, it's down by the dams, typically, around Fort Loudoun especially. The striper fishing is fantastic. You've seen a lot of guide services have come up here locally that with the rebounding of the fishing and with the fishing coming on strong, it's been very good for the economics of it. Just an anecdotal story. Last week, I had my nephew out on Concord, and you know, I took him out there looking for the white bass run, which is a great thing. But we looked out, and there was a cove, probably 2 acres of bait fish that were just getting crushed by large predatorial species. It's something you typically only think about seeing in a saltwater environment, and for us to be there when that happened was really neat.
So that's really some proof that our ecosystem here in Knoxville around the river is improving.
Absolutely, absolutely. It's you know, I more and more see this area becoming a destination for traveling anglers of conventional and fly tackles. So it's yeah, I would say it's come a long way.
So I wonder if this whole business and focus on the lake, along with, there's all that recreation has to do with boats, but just the fishing industry alone, I wonder if Visit Knoxville is catching wind and starting to, because I know they try to get events to come to Knoxville.
Absolutely. We are working with them right now, actually, to help them bring, hopefully, some events here to town. You know, even with like Outdoor Knoxville and the Legacy Parks push and IAMS, I think everyone's really getting together and seeing that a clean, productive river system is not only good for you know, for the health of the people in the valley and particularly in Knoxville, but it's also great for the economy too, because Knoxville's a wonderful place to visit, and we're really lucky to have the aquatic resources that we have here. So that's why it's so imperative to get people involved, to promote it, and to protect it.
So now we have people promoting it, Visit Knoxville, and then your store and your fishing industry. How important do you think it is that we keep it clean?
I mean, it almost, you know, it's so obvious because, and you have to keep the debris out of the way in terms of for safety's sake, obviously, which is something that your organization is incredibly skilled at. And just down to the small things, you know, like you see on the storm drains to the river. You know, I wish people would really keep that in mind, because that plastic, that paper, whatever it is that they throw out is eventually going to end up in the river. Now, you know, those kind of things that it may not affect, let's say, the health of the river so far as biologically, but, you know, you want to be proud of your environment and you want to keep it clean, and that way it gives everybody a much user-friendly experience.
The health of your town. You think about it. You don't want to look out, go across the greenway, and look at all this trash.
Absolutely. You know, you keep your yard clean.
That's what I wanted to say. I don't know if the viewers remember this. Maybe you do. Do you remember Tennessee trash and the Indian and don't ruin mine? He had the tear coming down. I really feel like we should, as the water people, make a national attack at that also, that we really need to focus now on the water. Not that we not refocus on the land, but let's expand from the people stopping them from throwing it out on the roadways. Now let's stop throwing them out on the blueways. So you got to stop trash there, but some of the biggest things that my organization is trying to do is educate the businesses, the automotive industry, the restaurants, from the dumpage, is what you're talking about, and the overflow. Anytime it overrains, it all dumps into our little creeks,
Sure.
and then it flows all down, and you just can't help it.
Mm-hmm.
So we're trying to stop it up there, because if we continue to dirty our resource, we won't be able to draw in fishermen, or the people that visit Knoxville want to be here.
That's right, and and the Knoxvillians themselves become unplugged, and that would be a really, really bad situation, because that would be wasting an incredible resource we have here. Everybody lives downstream. So, it's imperative that you keep that resource clean. I mean, the lake is an indicator of how you live or run the rest of your terrestrial, activities. So, if you can't keep your rivers clean, then, you need to kind of realize that you need to have more pride in where you live, and
well, it's kind of like your body. If you don't take care of your blood, which are your tributaries and your reservoirs all through your system, if that's messed up and dirty, your liver gets overtaxed, which would be like our sewer systems,
mm-hmm.
and then you get sick, and then our river gets sick, and
Yeah.
then we can't grow. Do you feel like our economy is growing here in Knoxville? I mean, based on the river.
I do. In the business that I'm in, I get to see and interact with a lot of guides, a lot of people who travel here, who stay in hotels, who buy gas for their boats, who spend money in tackle shops, and I really have seen an increase in the influx of people wanting to take advantage of it. The word's getting out,
Mm-hmm.
that Knoxville is a special place, that has a lot to offer, and I mean, I think back in 25 years ago, when I was running around the rivers up here, it cannot be overstated how much progress we've made, and that we need to continue doing it.
Well, with that in mind, what's your vision of the future of our river in Knoxville? If you could have your wildest dream come true, say 10, 15, 20 years down the road, what would that be?
Well, I would really like to see our riverfront become much more of a centerpiece for town. Mm-hmm. We had the South Knoxville redevelopment plan. I think that's pushing the town in the right direction. Holston Gas is going to be relocating,
mm-hmm.
so that will free up an area. Eventually, hopefully, market forces will decide what best to do at the Baptist Hospital site.
Mm-hmm.
Just if I had my druthers and could say whatever, bucket list for Knoxville, it would
mm-hmm.
be that riverfront become vibrant and viable, And it's been done in a lot of different places. I mean, there are cities like Cincinnati, Pittsburgh, Chattanooga that have done great things with their riverfront. Mm-hmm. And I think Knoxville is, we're getting there. We've got some work to do, but we're getting there. And we have a lot to offer here. So it's...
Well, with that in mind, we're going to come to a close. Thank you for joining us on the Lake Show today, and thank you, Jeremy, for joining us.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
All right.